Osu, I'm Watanabe Shinji, Kudo Daido Shihan, and also Yuigaryu Karate Renshi. Today, I will introduce and explain a kata called Seisan. And one more thing, I'll say it up front. The next post will be Pinyan Nidan, Heian Shodan in Shotokan. To be honest, I hadn't thought about covering these two kata in my channel because I am still researching and studying various aspects of them. Yes, I'm not an authoritative sensei. I'm just a practitioner. That's why I use the title Renshi instead of Hanshi or Kyoshi. One more thing, as I often say in the Shuri-te and Tomari-te lineage, the fundamental and most essential kata is Naihanchi. If you don't understand and master Naihanchi, doing any other kata is meaningless. Conversely, if you truly understand Naihanchi, all other kata become variations and applications, and you should be able to grasp them naturally. That's why I've explained Naihanchi as thoroughly as I could. And I thought that from here on, viewers, please continue your own research just as I'm doing now. However, since there has been a continuous demand and inquiries about these two kata recently, so I have come to believe that I maybe should make a presentation on these kata as well. So today's video is a brief introduction and explanation of Seisan. Let's begin. Osu. As you know, karate has three main lineages: Shuri-te, Tomari-te, and Naihanchi. The kata called Seisan exists in all three. The version I practice is from the Tomari-te lineage, often referred to as Tomari Seisan to distinguish it from the others. Comparing the three versions of Seisan, there are both unique and similar aspects among them, and Tomari Seisan is the simplest and shortest. From this, there was an original Seisan kata first, and each lineage added their techniques, modified to suit its own style. And that Tomari Seisan, being the simplest, is perhaps closest to that original. It's possible to hypothesize that. But I'm a karateka, not a karate historian, so it doesn't matter much whether this theory is accurate, as long as practicing it makes you stronger in actual combat. It's a right kata. Whether that kata is close to the original or not doesn't matter. On the other hand, even if someone were to preserve the original kata somewhere and know its exact form, if they are not strong in actual combat, then that kata may hold value as a traditional art, but is meaningless as a martial art. I think so. Now, let's watch the version of Seisan practiced in my style, Yuigaryu. As I mentioned, I'm still researching this kata myself. So, as I continue my studies, some movements may change or may stay the same. What I'll show you now is just my current version of Yuigaryu Seisan. Then, here we go. Osu. Seisan. It's like that. Now the question is, what does each movement in this kata mean? And how does it contribute to actual combat or kumite? The answer is, Seisan is a kata that modifies, applies, and develops the basic movements learned in Naihanchi, making them more practical for actual combat. Sorry, a little digression here. Now I'm explaining this based on Naihanchi. I said Seisan is a development of Naihanchi, but historically it's probably the opposite. Seisan existed first, and some genius extracted its essence and simplified it to create Naihanchi. I add it just in case. Let's get back to the main topic. Naihanchi organizes the use of centrifugal force and COG, center of gravity shift power, in a way that's very easy to understand. It uses lateral movement for that. And longer weapons are generally advantageous in a fight. Your opponent's attacks do not reach you, but your attacks can reach them. It's the easiest way to fight, right? However, longer weapons are harder to control. So Naihanchi begins with short distance attack training and gradually extends it. That's the structure of Naihanchi. In actual combat, however, the opponent isn't to the side. They are diagonally in front of you. That's why Seisan involves a slight twist and striking. Using the weight of the arms, I strike with centrifugal force and COG shift. I step forward and strike repeatedly. Then strike downward. Step back and strike again. See, Seisan allows you to adapt and apply the movements you learned in Naihanchi in a more practical format. Additionally, Seisan includes kicking exercises, lifting leg and stomping. Training both directions of kicking movement. Furthermore, Seisan includes body turn movements. Tai sabaki are not found in Naihanchi, such as 90-degree and 180-degree turns. These turns are also following old karate principles. Utilize the COG shift of the arms to control the entire body's movement. I create the weight in the front and balance it with the weight in the back. You get the idea. That's about it for a simple explanation. Then let's go over Seisan once more, reflecting on the explanation I've given. Seisan. I cannot stress this enough, but the most fundamental and essential kata in the Shuri-te and Tomari-te lineages is Naihanchi. Therefore, for instance, Motobu Choki once said, "As for the kata, just doing Naihanchi is enough," probably as you know. But actually, it seems he have placed significant value on Seisan too. That is because he also left these words.
When Naihanchi kata is twisted either to the left or right, the meanings of each movement are revealed.
This Naihanchi twisted to left or right is exactly what Seisan represents. The Namigaeshi movement provides a clear example of this. And Motobu also said,
When you fight, it is acceptable to move steps forward or back from the same stance. But by the third step, the stance should be reversed.
This, too, refers to Seisan. In Naihanchi, we move without changing stance. While in Seisan, we advance with a change in stance. In fact, Motobu personally passed down Seisan to Marakawa Kenji, who served as the Shihan at Motobu's dojo Daidokan. While he repeatedly told others, just Naihanchi is enough. But at the same time, he taught Seisan to his top student. This one thing alone will show that he actually placed a great deal of importance of Seisan as well. That's all for today's video. If you found it interesting or informative, please give it a like. Comments are also welcome. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please feel free to share not only this video, but also previous videos. Finally, everyone, make sure to practice watching videos and thinking, that was interesting, is not enough. Martial arts are meaningless if you only understand with your head. You need to practice repeatedly and understand with your body, right? Then, next time, I'll explain Pinya Nidan. Stay tuned. Os.